It was the kind of love story people whispered about, too perfect, too beautiful, too intense to last. They called it tragic when Evelyn died just a week before her wedding. But no one expected what happened at her funeral. In front of everyone, her fiancé, Thomas, dropped to one knee and proposed to her corpse. The crowd gasped, but it wasn't the gesture that made them scream. It was the blink. Just one. A twitch of her eyelid. Subtle, but unmistakable. And from that moment on, nothing stayed dead. Thomas and Evelyn were the couple that made others jealous. He was a meticulous architect, sharp in dress and sharper in speech, while Evelyn was a florist known for her wild, dreamlike arrangements, colors and fragrances that lingered in your head like a lullaby. Their opposites attract energy drew everyone in. They were magic together. Until Evelyn collapsed in her flower shop one rainy Thursday. An aneurysm, the doctors said. Instant. Peaceful. Unfair. Thomas refused to believe it. Her body was warm when he found her. Her lips still red with wine from the night before. She had been laughing, planning the wedding. The funeral was held 3 days later, under a heavy sky and thicker tension. Thomas had arranged every detail himself. He demanded an open casket. "She looks like she's sleeping," he said to Evelyn's mother, who could only sob in silence. But Thomas had one more surprise. As the final hymn faded, he stepped up to the coffin with something small in his hand. A velvet ring box. The mourners stirred, confused. He cleared his throat. "I never got the chance," he whispered. "So I'll do it now." He knelt by the casket and opened the box, revealing a sapphire ring, their shared birthstone. "Evelyn Rose Carter, will you marry me?" Gasps. Awkward laughter. A few stifled sobs. And then, she blinked. It was so fast, so slight, some thought it was a trick of the light. Others swore they saw her lips twitch. Thomas fell back, trembling, the ring clattering to the marble floor. The room erupted into chaos. Her casket was slammed shut. The funeral director insisted it was a muscle spasm, a post-mortem reflex. "It happens," he said, eyes wide with something that wasn't confidence. But Thomas couldn't let it go. He couldn't sleep that night. Evelyn's face haunted his every blink. That blink. That godforsaken blink. He returned to the funeral home at midnight, bribed the night watchman, entered the embalming room, and found the casket empty. His knees buckled. He called the police, babbling about stolen corpses. But when they arrived, the casket was right where it should be, body and all. Evelyn, still and silent. Pale. Dead. They called it grief-induced hysteria. Thomas started seeing her after that. In the window of her flower shop, just a flash of her white dress between the petals. In the mirror, behind him, standing in the back of the room. At night, her perfume would fill the house. Lavender and blood orange. He set up cameras around his home. He needed proof. One night, the motion sensors triggered at 3:14 a.m. The footage showed his bedroom door creaking open and a pale hand sliding across the edge of the bed. Then static. The next morning, the ring box was gone from his nightstand. Thomas spiraled. Friends stopped checking in. Evelyn's mother blocked his number after he sent her a photo of Evelyn standing in the garden. He became obsessed with her grave. He visited every night, sometimes sleeping by the headstone. One evening, he found fresh roses there, arranged in Evelyn's signature style. The same style she said no one could ever replicate. The next day, the flowers were in his kitchen. He snapped, convinced himself Evelyn wasn't dead, that she had somehow survived, or come back, or never left. He dug up her grave under the cover of night. Inside the coffin was a mannequin, porcelain skin, glass eyes, mouth stitched shut. Pinned to its chest was a note, written in Evelyn's delicate handwriting. "You buried me too soon." That night, Thomas dreamed of her. She was wearing the dress she died in, blue silk with embroidered lilies. She stood over him, eyes black with something bottomless, and whispered, "Do you still want to marry me?" He woke up in the flower shop, covered in soil, holding the missing ring box. Inside was a finger, her finger, wearing the ring. The town declared Thomas missing 2 weeks later. Police found traces of blood in his home, flower petals strewn across every surface. A security camera outside the flower shop captured his final moments, standing at the door, whispering something only he could hear before the screen turned black. The shop has been closed ever since. But locals say if you walk by after midnight, you can hear a soft voice inside, humming the wedding march. And if you listen closely, you'll hear a second voice whispering, yes, they were meant to be after all. But some marriages are made in hell. And sometimes the dead say yes, even when they shouldn't.